All right, we will call the finance meeting to order. We need to do the roll call or the pledge. Assume the meeting was noticed correctly.
It was.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second, I guess. Our legal meeting. All in favor? All in favor? Aye. Any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
All second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll move to items for discussion. First item is review the bills. Another copy. Budget review. Or which one?
Is this one sheet a highlight sheet, Ryan?
Which sheet is that?
This one is just,
That is a highlight. Do you guys have the, I'm looking here to see, I don't see
I don't see the actual
We don't have
list.
the check.
I don't see the list either. I don't see what was included, so I think it's one.
I just see all the different funds
Correct.
quoted out.
Let me pull up the bills and I'll go over and a copy of that, because I don't think the bills are in there. I think only on there would
There's
be
just highlights.
the highlighted bill. I see I put two copies of the same thing in here and left off the thing that we actually need. So, 1 second.
Well, we looked through the highlights.
Are they?
They're not attached.
They're not.
I attached the same thing twice, but it's called something different, so let me get the correct thing.
So on the agenda, they're not attached either?
They're not attached to the
Okay.
agenda yet.
In and out of that hallway. Is that where, or is it just the window, or
Oh.
Somebody open the window?
you just need more heats back there to block the cold?
And it doesn't help to, would you shut the door without locking it? Does that keep the heat in?
Partial shut it a little.
Hello? You just all went out, I'm sure that has an impact.
Yeah, it's definitely dropped since we started.
He hasn't put his coat on yet.
No.
Let's start sneezing.
Talking came on.
Keep it down, good. Great.
Not as long as 2 years ago.
I missed the Dodger here thing.
Yeah.
Always
Because of
very
that.
fun.
And then people were getting up to make motions to adjourn and Mike's like, can't do that.
Always very.
It was pretty interesting though. I liked hearing everybody's different.
You hear people's perspectives. It's interesting to
And you
listen
can
to
definitely
people.
see, gauge where the majority
Oh, yeah.
lean.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
If we hadn't had that technology glitch with the voting, it would have gone probably 20 minutes quicker. Maybe.
How much time did it go?
It was just under 3 hours,
4:30.
so I would,
Sorry, I missed.
Did the one issue generate a lot of discussion compared to the others, the one about the
the state.
Separating the voucher money.
Yeah.
Voucher money.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there were other ones that just took just as long. That
Oh,
was
okay.
pretty clear, like people were very clearly divided, the majority saying, you can't untie it because then they have no accountability.
Great. That conversation wasn't as long as I thought it was gonna be. I thought that was gonna go longer. And then, last year they tried to bring forward the Safe Girls Sports one. That got defeated. They tried bringing it again back this year at the end, and it got defeated again, so,
State girls sports.
yeah, it's
What does it mean?
non-trans in sports.
Oh, I see.
And so it got defeated again, so now there's a group of school districts that are thinking of creating their own WASB type thing because we're so political.
Or non-political.
Yeah,
The guy I sat next to, literally every vote we took, we were completely the opposite every time. I want to be like, what are you at?
Where was he from?
I never found out.
so
I don't know. I was just very curious.
are we recording now?
It is still recording. Carrie, you have a computer, so you'll be able to pull up the bills. I'm gonna go grab the printed copies. I'll make copies for everybody so you guys can see those. So be right
I can
back.
share with Randall if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
100%. You can share.
Yeah. Carrie,
She doesn't like that.
I don't care.
all the more reason to do it.
That's right.
I don't want to get a letter.
It's so much fun.
I don't send letters.
Okay.
We're being recorded right now. Oh, yes. This is interesting that we pay the.
What was your favorite session at the convention?
Yeah, because it's you always out. It's 0 until 100.
Yep.
Mhm.
I guess I really like, again, the Lodi one where they were bringing the community
Community,
businesses
yeah.
into the schools.
Mhm.
Part of that too that they had is kind of generated from that was a thank you to the staff and teachers. Or all, just all staff where they have, it's like Coffee Friday, it's one time a month.
Mhm.
They have a cart in every building where it is sponsored by local businesses. And Pig gives every month gives like drinks, coffee and some snacks.
Mhm.
And then another business for them, it's about $300, will donate pastries. And then they wheel this cart around the building and they knock at doors, they stop instruction, the teacher can get anything they want out of
Okay.
it. And of course, it's who's sponsored it
Yeah.
that month is on there, and it's like PTO, the business, mom, like whoever, it's not administration wandering around, it's like people from, or.
The business
other
or
people
someone
who are-
actually pushing the cart
Yeah,
around.
and they love it, and if a teacher's not there, they leave stuff on their desk, and then it's just this really, and they said, despite the cost, they have a sign up, and it's a year and a half out.
Yep.
Like, there's a waiting period to get this, and I just love the idea of like, thank you to the staff. You walk by, it's like, oh, there's a janitor, please take something from the cart. And it's like, can I have something from the cart? They're like, when you are an educator at Lodi, yes, you can have something. Like, that was just like a kind of maple leaf cheese, wrap that all up, and it's like, not only that, thank you to those businesses, but then they're thanking the staff as well.
What's neat?
I really, that was good. I really like surveying.
So it's
things as well.
reimbursement?
That's a
Okay.
different one.
All right.
When those say reimbursed, does that mean
Yeah.
we paid them out, that they're being
Yeah.
reimbursed by the club?
So what I've done is in the one list, some of these things are routine things that occur, but if they're over $2,000, I try to give some level of explanation. So that's where you'll see in the one list, some of the things, and trying to put in there, this is what I believe the explanation is. Jenny and I sat down yesterday and went through each one of these and tried to get some level of explanation. So I'll just kind of, I'll read those out loud, so you guys are, aware of those. I know we had, so our Dodgeville utilities, that was the $4,482.42. Gordon Foods, we did have our Slaney came and they did do some snow, which that was winter. We've been very, very fortunate right now that is saving us money, but we cannot, I'll talk about that later. Our Worco, our busing, that's our monthly busing. Dependable Solutions, the 12,000. Gordon Foods again is food. Kyle's Consulting, that one was new to me. Maybe it's been before, but that one was new. But that's for Medicaid billing. So I know that's not at a threshold that I was concerned, other than it was a name that I just wasn't used to seeing. Maple Leaf Cheese. So I did put in here, like if we had to buy something for an organization and it's reimbursed, I put on there that we will get reimbursement for this. It might be later that we get the reimbursement. So Maple Leaf Cheese was 9,000. New Frontier, that was a lower amount, and really that's around $3,000 up to $4,000 a month. So New Frontier is one of the bills that we're planning on next year not having. So the only piece that, and this is where special education comes into play, and I do want to bring this up. Right now, we're planning like that student will return. But within special education, you may get a student or all of a sudden there's a related need. And now we have to reassess, or there might be a change in this. Or that you have to provide additional services. I don't want that to get confused later of, well, you said this. You're right, I did say that, and it is 100% based on the students that we have out, we're planning on returning. We believe they can be a part of this program and that's gonna be a really good fit. But it also doesn't mean that we get a student in, or all of a sudden, you know, we've had a student get in an accident and now they need some added services. This is the tricky part about special education, and this is, if people wanna know, what do I write my legislator on? Special education is 100% get a better model for special education. Talk to Howard Markline, talk to Todd Novak. Special education is a major concern. So that would be my plug right now. It's so unpredictable at times, and we have to provide the service. We can't deny that service. So that was my plug there. Corals and Brady, they are the group that's going over all of our referendums. So we're making sure that everything we're doing with this referendum is legal. And so Corals and Brady is that group. WASB, we had legal support there that we got. EMC insurance, that was $16,000. Maybe highlight that. That's gonna come up later when I talk about insurance. Gordon Foods again is food. District-wide software is the Marco Technologies. Santa Care, that's $5,400. Southwest Tech.
What is Santa Care?
Cleaning supplies.
Cleaning, that's supplies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Southwest Tech, that was driver's education. Upland Hills Health, that's our OT, PT, and speech. Water Walkers, that is a new platform with our food services to build better menus for our kids and provide better resources in food service. Elsom Food.
Is the Water Walk, is that a recurring expense, or is this a?
It should be a one-time expense. Elsom Farms and Produce, that's again, we had quite a few FFA expenses come up here. Those will all be reimbursed. CISA 5, that's our financial support and training. Gordon Foods, you know, CISA 5 for the rest of the year, expect it to stay there. It will start decreasing. I will tell you, we feel really good about the team. I did reconcile my first time last month successfully, which was a positive. You know, it's a good, it is a good feeling considering we were struggling with that a year ago. And getting all of that stuff cleaned up so that we could reconcile. We've now done it 3 months in a row. So it is one of those, and I did it with very little support. And Jenny, we've got a good team going where she's now entering more journal entries in and taking care of that work on her own and doing it without CISA's support. So positive. Jonesdale, that'll be reimbursed for the trap shooting, building filters. FFA, the next ones are all FFA. World Data Products, that's the IT software subscription. So were there any other items that as you guys looked at the list that I should have given a better explanation on?
What was the thing for Jake Shekel for 2,000?
That was a scholarship that we had to pay out, and I am trying to find out the reimbursement on this because I believe this was part of that grant he wrote last year, and it was the money on that. My question was for Jamie, I don't recall these coming in this way before. I trying to find more information on how did that work and did the money get deposited? I believe it's reimbursed, so it's a matter of, it should be in the FFA account.
But was it previously because Fund 21 was not through this same system that was managed through the front office?
Yes,
So I wonder if those were being written
in the main.
in the main office previously and now because it's Fund 21.
Yeah, that could be. So I'm still waiting on feedback on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be my.
Other items, when you look at the master list.
No, I think the breakdown and the explanations are good because it was something that we previously received more detail on, and so I like that we're getting that detail level back.
And I appreciate you guys asking for it. So if there's other things financial wise that you want reports on, that's where I'm trying to spend more time in the business office world, is getting better reports out. And also getting these reports out to staff will transition me into the next report that I'd like to go over with you guys. So this is I believe it's in the supplemental. I know it's online. It's page 13.
What is it, cover?
It's also
It's in your main packet as
in the
well.
main
Good. So it is in
packet,
both.
right behind the agenda.
Okay.
So it's in both packets. We just want to make sure you had double.
It's right behind the agenda, finance
Oh,
agenda.
okay.
So as you look at this, this is one of those, I want to serve it as a reminder that at the current financial overview, drill down at a deeper level. So we know our revenues coming in at 15.6 million, but our expenses, that was the 17.2 million or $17,215,206. That's the budgeted line. Our goal this year was we can't get more revenue at this point. So our goal was really to reduce the expenses wherever possible. Being the contract years, it wasn't gonna come in salaries and benefits, but I will tell you, as we did, Sandra, we had a staff member leave, Sandra Fenolia leaves. We covered it at a cheaper rate by giving people, paying them an overload versus hiring a person to replace that position. Is it good practice long-term? Absolutely not. But for us to get through the remainder of the year, we're gonna get through the remainder of the year. Erin Spatafor, I give kudos to her, picking up extra responsibilities to make it happen. Heather Zizis picking up extra responsibilities again to make this happen, to cover things. Reed Trueblood, paying him overload, he's got the license, we're gonna use him down there. It did limit the amount of support we have up here, but we think we'll be all right. And Natalie Hankey, pay her an overload so that she can do it. And she's very passionate about this. Kathy Warpinski, giving her a little bit of money and paying her limited. It's cheaper than hiring a person, but it is not a model we can sustain. This would be bad programming for kids over the long haul. Sandra put us in a phenomenal position when she left, and she's still willing to support our team moving forward. We don't always catch breaks like that. And so I just put it out there as a reminder. At this time of the year, as you look at this chart, you'll see that we should be in this time of the year around 55 to 60% of our total budget. That's where we're at in the school year. Salaries and benefits are the major portion of the budget, so that's $10.6 million. Where that percentage ends up being a little bit lower, like you might see it, well, that's 42%, we must be doing really well. Well, June ends up being a higher month because we pay out all of our stipends in regards to curriculum-related support, our coaching-related support. That is a higher month, so we're gonna be slightly under every year there. I'm also hoping in some of these areas that we're pinching, it's going to equate to some dollars saved at the end. But I'm gonna tell you, don't bank on those two areas right now. I wasn't anticipating that to have any extra money in it. Then we get to the 300 level, and this is the area that you see on the left-hand side. There's a bunch of 300s there. All of those add up to that $4 million. I think it's important that we be a little bit more transparent with the community and let them know, like, here's where they're at. I'm willing to break this down more if we feel like it's needed, but this has proven to be a very timely process for me. I will tell you, moving forward, yes, we can recode things and build it better, but I don't think it's a good interest to hire CISA to do this for us. I think it's one of those, like, if there's a concern, please call it out, please ask questions. But I'm trying to drill this one down. So I'm gonna go through each one and let you guys know kind of what I'm thinking at this point. Curriculum and technology, it's slightly overspent, but expected to stabilize because we often buy our curriculum early. And then as the semester goes on, well, we bought stuff again here to start second semester, it'll level back off by the end. So percentages wise, I think we're right on track. And I am anticipating that at the end of the year, that number ends up being less than what we budgeted. So it's showing 69%. You know, we should be 55 to 60, but I think that's going to be a positive for us at the end of the year. Repairs of any kind, so repairs and maintenance, it's underspent currently, we're hoping to keep it that way. However, you know, something goes on, winter has been kind to us, oftentimes things break when we're out plowing, when we're working in these conditions. When we don't have to work in these conditions, we save money. When we start up the mowing season again, repairs will come in there as well, but hopefully that's a budget that we're gonna be under in the end. Utilities. Utilities is an area that we are spent right at this point, but the season has been very favorable to us. This is an area that I would anticipate us to have dollars available at the end to offset some areas that were going to be under budgeted, and I'll get to those at the end. It's also an area that I'm monitoring. As we know, last year we had, the high school gym was not, the high school model, I don't believe was fully on our system at that point. Was that accurate or not?
So
There was something not correct.
we had a meter that was not connected, and so we had that large bill that we had to pay to catch up.
Yeah.
But all that was fixed, so now the metering should be correct.
Meter should be accurate now. As we built the budget, there was dollars that we put into that to make sure like we've got this all covered, and this would be a full year of running the facilities, knowing the elementary school had the remodel on it and what was it going to cost us to run that new building.
Yeah, so thinking back on that, when we've been talking with the teams about the high school energy bill, I forgot about that. So as we look at that number from last year, how much of it was inflated because of that meter?
Covering the back pay on.
But was it that it would have, we owed it, but in the end of the year, we would have owed it anyway, so it just looked higher in those months.
No,
but
because it was
overall,
back pay.
It was back pay
It
for
was back
previous.
pay because
Previous years?
from the
time it was built.
the building was built, they didn't connect a meter.
Yeah,
Oh,
And so we
really?
had back pay to pay.
I didn't realize it was that
So
far back.
is that, I think we should look at that, Ryan, because
I will tell you is that is one area that I would say is we might have a level of, in about $50,000 to $100,000 that provides us a safety net.
Yeah.
Say that inflation put in the system and calculated off of that gave us a higher anticipated cost this year that we need to that we'll be able to reassess.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to that conversation about why is the high school energy bill so high? Because we were looking at the previous year and we had that money that we needed
cover
to
costs.
cover.
When was that exactly? Like a year ago now about, or was it longer?
Yeah, it was right, we were about halfway through the year last year, I think.
Yeah, and
And all of a sudden they said, oh, by the way,
yeah,
you were paying to cover because something wasn't hooked up.
and it was
From
not,
2020?
it was not our error. It was in that process, something was not connected, and so we had to back pay.
Which brings me to this month, Alliant Energy, we've only paid $445.
That might have been for something else.
But that's there's no other utility bill on here. Gotta be. Good. Are we paying for stuff?
It is a great question.
I was just thinking, when we were just talking about that, I went through and I just saw Alliant Energy line 3, 44509, I kept skipping through. I didn't see anything else for Alliant.
I'll pull it up in the system and see.
Yeah,
I will tell you guys, we work with the bank. We had a bill get lost in the mail. We literally got half of it just the other day. And between Jenny and I not realizing we had this bill to pay, like, yep, we got this half, the bank's waiving that fee because we only got half of the bill late.
right.
So we didn't have to pay the service fee, but that was one bill. That shouldn't have been the case with Alliant.
Right.
I'll pull up on the computer here and see, did we pay it early? And so it was on the
It
other.
was back on
We did
December.
2 in December
Right.
and just see where that's at. Otherwise, you just gotta make sure that, yes, that bill gets paid.
And
All right, so continuing in the categories, staff travel, we have reduced spending in staff travel, so I wouldn't, we are anticipating that number to, stay lower. I mean, it's not like it's going to be a significant amount, but it is still, everywhere we can, we're trying to pinch everything this year. Software in the business office, it's currently 45% spent and we're aiming to stay on budget there. College credit programs, we are not having as many students sign up for the college courses, so that number, we do believe we will be under budget there as well, or underspent.
why do you think kids aren't signing up for it? Do we not advertise it? I mean, it's just, I'm surprised kids aren't using it.
I don't know if it's. I don't know that it's, I think we'll see where we're at here in March.
Okay.
We'll see how many students do we get. I know this class is strong in AP,
Mhm.
which could be an offset. I know they're competing a lot in that realm.
Okay.
When you say this class, do you mean juniors and
The
seniors?
senior class, yeah, yeah. But, to the lens of, I don't know, I don't have an answer for that one.
Okay.
It's something I would say is definitely can ask Bryce.
Mhm.
What's his thoughts? Is he hearing anything
Oh,
about?
a junior,
Yeah.
right?
I do, and he's actually doing some classes at Platteville.
Yeah.
But, what age can they start taking college level courses?
Junior and seniors, correct?
Senior, yeah.
So even if you have somebody who's advanced, they have that opportunity. Like say somebody's exceptional at math. My high school, we had some kids a freshman year who went to college level courses. Would that be?
The other piece with this too is, the other component would be, we would possibly push them Wisconsin virtual school.
Oh,
That might be another option, and I would need to run that numbers to look how many are taking those courses as well. It depends, it would depend, they'd have to have maxed out our courses.
right.
And I don't know, I can think of one student right now that would have maxed out in their sophomore year.
But that's rare.
But it's rare.
You know,
very
like
rare.
I said, it's like they had a
And
couple
that-
for just.
That student had a unique circumstance even to start, so it would be one of those, it's a rare to get students in that level. Open enrollment, I put in 100%, we haven't paid that bill yet, but I didn't want people to look at the bottom and be like, oh, wow, you're really under, that money's going in the end, so I just put it in That's what we're gonna have to pay at the end of the year here.
It's not gonna change.
It's not gonna change. We got a plan that number's gonna be right about that. Same thing with school choice. I put the number in as that. That won't come out until the end of the year, but I didn't want people to look at that bottom number again and be like, well, you guys are at 40% in your overall budget. No, we've got some bills in here that are gonna come out. Same thing with special education.
School choice is vouchers, right?
That's the voucher.
The state voucher program, I always like school choice.
Yep. Yep. Classroom supplies, that's a line that I do believe we are pushed back on all the staff that, no, you're not buying classroom supplies. So that's an area that I'm hoping this year will be under budget. I am starting to hear one of those, we're running out of things. And so it is one of those, like, we're going through our inventory that we can't keep going at this level, or we're going to have to make some we're gonna have to figure something out different there for classroom supplies, which donations could be, we'll see. Supplies not related to the classroom, so again, that would be, an area that we feel we're gonna stay under budget on that one as well. Equipment. We expect to stay within the budget there as well. Again, if we're not replacing things, technology that would stay in the classroom, we're not replacing that. As you can see here, we got a new board. It's not as functioning as we would like, but it's working for what we need it to do. We're gonna get by with that. Interest payments, this is an area that, I'll take criticism for this, that I did not plan to short-term borrow as much as we did. So when you short-term borrow, that's $5,000 that we did not put in the budget. So somewhere above where we were saving money, we've got to start planning that we're going to have, and I would say $5,000 to $7,000, because we didn't pass a referendum in November, we upped our borrowing amount to $3 million. We did pay back the note, so we currently paid it back for February. It's gonna get really close here by the 18th. We don't get more money until the 20th, so more taxes come in, but we have to get through payroll. So payroll on the 15th, we're gonna be in a tight spot of, can we pay that bill? We have the money available to us. It's just a matter of, do I need to call the bank and say, hey, we need $200,000 for right now? That'll get us to the 20th. We'll get a significant amount of money there. We can pay it back. That should get us through March. We'll get another payment in March. We'll watch it in April. Then come June, June is where we're gonna have to start looking at, we might have to borrow the full amount, because that's gotta get us through the school year to start next year. And that amount will have to get us through until taxes come January 15th. So it is one of those June, July, August, September, October, we're probably gonna have a $3 million note out there to get us functioning next year. The question becomes in all of this, where do we end the year? Right now, it's looking, I'd like to say, can we be $200,000 less in our expenses? That doesn't mean, oh wow, we're $200,000 ahead, we don't need all the money that we talked about. No, we've pinched every corner here that we possibly can right now. And so we really have to make sure that moving forward, our fund balance was depleted. That would be $200,000 we can put back into, leave in our fund balance, or 200,050, 41 cents, 200,041 cents. It is one of those, like, this is where we have to be very real with our community. This is not a healthy budget. We have to do better than this, and that's why we made $500,000 in cuts to put us in a better budget moving forward, to lower it from 2.99 down to 2.49. But we do have to continue to be very frugal with every dollar. And at some point that's gonna catch up to us, because I know I've got one quote in to fix the roof over the district office that's sitting right around $35,000. So that's gotta get fixed as soon as we start getting precipitation again. So little things like that, which can be big things. The gyms, we took that out of the budget. Parking lots, we took that out of the budget. Long-term, we can't do this. So it is one of those, at some point, we gotta put some things back in the budget, and that's why the 2.49 is that number that allows us to have some level of flexibility. We also know, and I want this to be known, we're going to have to keep reducing staff as we keep moving forward unless something else changes with the number of students. But we can do it at a healthy rate that allows us to do educational practices in our district. This referendum not passing will mean we have to cut staff now so that we can get to a point that 2 years from now, we can't keep going back to the community. Or I'm gonna show you some data, or we're gonna be like every other district around us that have gone back up to 4 times in the past 10 years. So strategy wise, this is the strategy we wanna use right now because it's gonna put us in a healthy spot moving forward. I had you highlight the 16,000 in insurance. That's higher than I anticipated it to be. So I do expect to be under budget in that line. So when you look at insurance on the 800 level, we're at 85%. I think it's gonna be about $50,000 over what I was anticipating it to be because insurance was coming in higher. So, you know, there is some variance there that I just wanted to be transparent with. Dues and fees, I think that's gonna be right on track. Questions that you have on this report?
I don't recall you talking about the things that are related services support. Where we think that's gonna end up.
300,
Yeah, it's under
so
the
that
300s.
one would, we're running right around 15,000 a month. I know June will be higher, but I also think we will reduce our services there, that we can keep it at the 15,000. So right around 45 to 50 over.
Did you talk about transportation? I think we're looking at that. Because we've made some changes in that, right?
The only thing that why I am, transportation, as we start looking at sporting. Transportation in the fall is cheaper than the winter and the spring because of basketball goes on more road trips. Baseball, softball go on more road trips. So I think my anticipation is winter and spring is heavier used busing than fall is. Now, you guys might know that. Does that seem accurate or not?
I don't know that we've looked at.
No,
that
we've
kind
never
of
looked
detail.
at that. I mean, that just falls into the athletic budget and we don't really break it out by what seasons are more.
It's probably true, they have more games, so.
They have more games. There's I look at football has 4 road trips. Volleyball is gonna have about the same. So I think about the sports, you at least have football's got less. Now, will it be that much? But no, but knowing percentages wise, when this was through February 1st, February is still gonna be heavy travel again.
Cross country probably goes farther than anybody else.
Cross country probably goes farther, yeah.
So
And I
they're-
don't, it's something that I think I haven't dug into. I was just leaving it at a surface level of like, okay, that's why. So I didn't get too concerned there. The only piece with transportation that I dialed back, we do have field trips that often come later in the year, but I've been dialing those back and telling more no. So hopefully we're underspent there.
It's good to see the numbers
Mhm.
and the percentages. I think that's helpful for us looking at those each month.
The other reports that you guys have do give you all of our other fund accounts, so you can see where we are percentage wise. I do feel like, and I will tell you, if you look at this and you're like, maybe drill this area down, please tell me. I've met at the WASB conference, I met with, couple of business managers in the area and talked about what are the reports they're giving. And also one of the things that they helped me with this on is start doing year-to-year data, which right now I can't do it in this level because we didn't build it that way. But no, going forward, we should be able to see, okay, what did we spend? Where were we at percentages wise a year ago at this time? And start comparing those things. And so now that we're building this way, we're gonna have a better financial picture predicting things moving forward.
Prior to this, we just had totals for the year to look at and
Yeah,
compare.
you had just total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, did you have a question or?
I did, I didn't know.
Yeah. You raised your hand, I'm curious.
Just an observation to where you summarized, in your notes, key spendings for the month.
Yep.
One thing that might be helpful for the board, I know I do this sometimes personally, is I'll just make a note of, the frequency within the bill. Is this a monthly, is this an annual, something like that, and that kind of clarifies too, if I'm expecting this ongoing, then I'll just see it and it'll be done. I was curious, the Upland Hills Health, when you talked OT, PT and speech, is that a service we're buying from them to support the?
So OT, PT and speech, you could hire somebody.
Right.
It's just, you're most likely hiring a person, and which is salary and benefits. It's just cheaper
Yeah.
to purchase it through the hospital.
Right. That's non-special ed? That's,
They can cover
that
both.
would be,
I think it is special ed.
that would be both. Is where
Because you
that
don't
would
have to be
be.
classified as special ed to need some speech services.
Right.
It's both.
but my question was, is this part of Fund 10? Or is some of it part of special ed?
Part of this would be part of special ed. Yes, so this would be all of our bills coming through.
These are the
And
checks
then-
we wrote.
Yeah.
And then of that bill, you parse it out and say this percentage
Some of that
goes to
would go to
special
Fund
ed.
10, some would go to Fund 27. Some of it will get reimbursed fully and go through our Fund 21, which all the FFA stuff would go Fund 21.
Okay. The only other question I had was really around the insurance. That insurance bill is for what?
That would be for our, essentially insurance to cover our district.
Like building
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Buildings,
Cyber.
liabilities,
cyber.
cyber attack, pretty much anything we have to insure.
Except
so
except
it's-
benefits.
Is cyber
Just like your
attack part of?
home. Yes,
Okay.
We have to have that.
Well, yeah, I realize that, but I'm just curious, I was just curious if that was all part of one policy then? Or is this multiple policies?
yeah, it's all in one.
It's all, I believe it's all one
It's
policy.
a bundle,
Yeah, it's the bundle
Yeah,
that
it's a
cover
bundle.
every.
bungled, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, bundle. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that would be for the frequency, I think, honestly, I think it would be good for me as well.
Yeah,
To see
I
which
like
I think
vendor-
that's a good addition.
Like an A, you put like an A for annual or M for monthly or,
Yep.
yeah.
However you.
Just as long
Just
as it
tell
makes
us-
sense to me.
Just tell us how you wrote it.
This is what was the key.
Don't make it a secret.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, any more questions?
Motion by Robin.
Second.
Hold on. Oh,
A couple more things about the budget. So, and there are some items in where we're looking at moving forward as we start talking with mill rates and how that's going to impact our budget. And so that you guys know too, what does this mean compared to districts around us? Because, so if you look at, in the supplementals,
I saw that.
so I got out on my pages a little bit.
where was that?
So page 15, we'll go to page 15. There's a couple charts that I want to make sure you guys are aware of and that the community is aware of. So we'll get this out, but so when I met with Baird at the WASB conference, we started looking at greater demographics in CISA how is schools around us doing financial wise? And so this graph at the top, I know it's not a very pretty graph, but you see where Dodgeville is. We're third from the right. Our mill rate. Page 15.
These are all different schools?
This is, and so here's the one thing that I believe I'm not going to do. I'm not gonna sell out my neighbors.
No.
Right.
I don't think we need to know which district is there. I don't think it's, I don't think that does them any good, but I think for us to know that, yes, every bar represents one of the 31 schools in our CISA. So we're talking about schools in Southwest Wisconsin, CISA 3, there's 31 schools. Dodgeville is third from the right now. We're one of the lowest mill rate compared funded schools. The number that it goes up to is $10.90. So now that graph is right here. The data is here. So I took out the schools' names. You can see Dodgeville in 2025, we're number, we're in there twice. So just FYI, the numbers are accurate. When we pass the referendum, we are anticipating it to go to $7.56. We're not even in the top half after passing this referendum. So it is one of those, when we compare us to our neighboring schools, we're still in the bottom half. So I just go back to, I think the district, there's good things going on prior to this, but we've now slipped down to the bottom. We've got to figure out a way to get back where we're adequately funded to run our schools. I put in a graph about here, so I think this is the next page, 16. This is Dodgeville's data. So if we bounce back, so we gotta, out of our 580, 786 puts us here. It's not even backed up to where we were in previous years, but it at least gets us a competitive balance back to where we can put our district right sizing at the rates of our students and not having to quickly right size because we're not getting everything reimbursed that we need to from the state level. So this really is about taking care of our students, taking care of our community, and not doing it in a way, we're not breaking our banks. We're doing it in a respectful way. The other data point that I wanted to just share out is if you go to slide, go ahead.
Just a comment. You want to make sure those two numbers, if you're going to use them both.
That was
they're
my
the same.
comment.
1,756, 1,786.
Which one is the correct number?
So.
Oh, good catch there.
Just, yeah.
Is it 756?
It's $2.06.
So it's 786.
86.
Yep.
Gotcha, good. And which would put us,
I mean.
Puts us dead
I get your-
center.
Put us dead center.
I get your point.
Thank
but
you.
just-
Good
Yeah.
catch there. I did bad math. Yeah, 786 is where we're at. I don't know how I got that number, so.
It still puts us right in the
Yeah.
dead center.
No, I know
Yeah.
what you're saying.
But yeah, you want the same numbers when you're
Yeah.
showing people graphs and data.
Thank you, good catch, guys. I'll update that and get that reposted.
We have to keep looking at this as an investment. The last speaker on Friday, Joe San,
Joe Sanfilippo.
yeah,
That
him.
was amazing.
He was phenomenal, and like he had a quote up, and I even took a picture of it. We have to stop looking at it as an expenditure and as an investment, and instead look at it as an investment in our community.
100%. Do you flip to this one? I know yours is black and white, may not be really clear. But if you just look at operational referendums in the past 10 years. So Dodgeville isn't even on this list. We don't represent any single one of those districts. Think back, how many districts are in CISA 3?
31.
31. So how many have at least went to one referendum? 26. How many have gone multiple times? There's a large group of them. There's been 47 operational referendums passed in CISA 3. this isn't a Dodgeville issue. Now, the amounts are varying and it goes from recurring to non-recurring, but these are the numbers currently out there. I did pull the past 10 years. I can also pull up, if we want to compare capital referendums, Dodgeville did pass 2. So yeah, we have had 2 capitals, but those pay for different things.
We need to clarify that, because a lot of people are confused, like, why do we just give all this money and now we're capital, not.
It was facilities, it wasn't
Yes, but
operational.
people don't understand that.
Yeah,
So in some regards here, it's just a reminder, in the past decade, we haven't gone to the community asking them for funds to do the operational things. Where other districts have, 26 of them in our area. 31 total. If I pull up all of the referendums, only 2 would not exist, and it's Lancaster and one other, and I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but that I will get. Lancaster did some intelligent things back in 2012, 13, and 14, strategizing wise to offset things so that right now they're in a good position. Do they anticipate in the next couple of years they're gonna have to go to referendum? Yes. But they're trying to get by as long as they possibly can.
what did you just send out the other day? There's 84 districts going to referendum,
93
but
referendum
93 questions.
in 88 districts.
That, okay, that's not as reverse. And it's almost the same number that you had back in November.
Yeah.
Once again.
So those are pieces I just want to tie into our finances right now, as we look at the big picture. Now, the Baird team has given me more data than I ever care to sit down and look at. But if there are things that now you want to say, hey, I'm curious about this, I can now compare us to every CISA in the state. I can compare us to every school in the state, every CISA region. I can compare us to every conference school, just our size. If you want me to drill something down, I can give us the data.
I think it's really good information to have. Really
It's
good.
all good stuff to have in the back.
It's on the referendum page. That'd be great.
So it will be going on. It's been, one step at a time and trying to get explanations behind it and then making sure my math is right.
Or at least you typed it right.
Exactly.
Your math was
I
right.
was thinking one thing, but my typewriter is doing the other. All right, that is all I have.
Anything else?
That is it on this one.
Randall, you made a motion?
Robin did,
Robin did,
I
okay.
think.
Yes.
Really good.
Second,
Okay.
yes, all in favor? All right. That was done, I think, well.
Buildings.
Oh.
6.5.
We're not done.
5.
Okay.
We are
Hold on,
not
Jess.
done, girl.
We got one more to go.
Not about building. Okay.
How can you forget Bill?
I don't know.
Who's running that one?
I can run that one, that's fine.
You see, you running?
Yeah.
Did that policy last and then expedited it very quickly.
Okay, so we are going to enter into the Building and Grounds Committee meeting. So we will call the meeting to order. We've already
I'll make a motion on
I'll second
the
that.
notice of the meeting. You'll make a motion on, Mike?
Yes, so for a legal meeting, all right.
Okay,
Randall second.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
it's you.
Randall.
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so Randall and Robin. And- Okay. So one item on this agenda, the maintenance director's report.
We're making progress in all the tasks that were on the list for, Brad and Dale. The biggest concern that we're having is, again, we're still striking out with the doors and not getting phone calls back.
Hmm.
So that was, I think, kind of the biggest frustration I have right now is we still can't get these doors fixed and replaced. I didn't take anything out to bid for the roof yet, but I did get a quote on that already. So that's the information we're looking to compile and then go through a formal process on that.
How'd you get a quote when you didn't even put it out for bid?
Just knew somebody,
Somebody.
knew somebody and
Okay,
said, hey, what do you think this is gonna cost us? Because we wanted to see, the other part would be is Brad's thinking, well, can he fix it himself? And so then it was, is this something we can do? So, somebody was willing to just let us know, here's a ballpark of what we think it's gonna cost, and it's like, okay, it's good to know, because in the back of my mind, if I gotta come up with X number of dollars, I'd like to know idea how many X number of dollars if we need to get this fixed because it's spring and it's leaking and we got an issue.
So the weather has allowed them to just kind of kick down the list versus spending their time plowing and salting and.
Yes. The other component is just our short staffed. Thankfully, we have not had a busy winter, which has allowed them to manage the games and the cleanups. I would love to be able to do this long term, but I know everybody is getting stretched thin. And so it is one of those like, yeah, I do think at some point here, we will have to look at hiring. If we had a winter that was busy, I don't know how, we can't ask our maintenance team to keep doing this. And part of it is too, we're coming the end of this month and for the next 2.5 months, we're gonna lose another maintenance person who needs to take a leave. And so it is one of those like, yeah, we're gonna post again here, we need subs for maintenance. And so it just, I want you guys to be aware, it's, yep, we're gonna go shorter at the middle school and shorter at the high school. We're going to clean the elementary school fully. That is where the #1 area for germs happens is. But at the high school and middle school, we'll cut corners. I am going to offer overtime if somebody wants to clean on a Saturday and saying like, yeah, we know we're pinching all week, but we'll know once a week we'll get it cleaned. Does somebody want to clean on a Saturday? Just to cover it, but it's not healthy for us. And I can say is the smiles aren't as real as they used to be. You can see the body language that people are getting spent. And I know it's the time of the year, but I also know it is one of those, we're asking people to go above and beyond and keep fighting, keep doing the good work. And they also know, but this isn't the quality of work that I should be doing. And then they're trying to do the quality of work, and it's not fair either that they're working extra and not getting compensated for it. As I said, no, we can't do that. You have to dial it back. So I look at the health of the organization as a whole. We can't do this long-term this way. We've gotten this far. We'll get to the finish line this year, but we've got to have relief of some sort. And that is just, those are some positions that I know we've got to be prepared for.
Didn't we hire a student at the high school to help out part-time?
We did, yeah, it was helping out at the elementary school, and we also are gonna be hiring a library assistant student. So we're doing some things with students. They also have to get their schoolwork done
Right.
and take care of all their own responsibilities, so those are some components that it hasn't been equal. It has helped, it definitely has provided relief, but the other reality is life happens. People, for the first time, I thought, are we gonna have to think about shutting down school because we just have so many staff out? And, it was combine this classroom, you combine this classroom, which I haven't seen us have to do as much, but we just don't have the subs available. And then you gotta get the place cleaned, and if people are out sick, the cold really hit us hard this year.
I think Ithaca closed for a few days there.
I would not be
Elementary
surprised.
and middle school for 3 days because they had so many kids and staff out sick.
who was that?
Ithaca, like 2 weeks ago. How many
So-
subs do we need on a daily basis, would you say?
It's variable on the building. Because the high school, we can run some pretty large group areas to say, all right, you're sent, send them to the library. We'll put one staff member in the library, we got 50 seats, send them to the library, it's study hall today. And we'll get the other classes going. Your elementary school, you can't quite do that. So it's variable on the building. And then it also is variable on which staff members. Because special education related services, they might need a one-to-one, and so now you're pulling there.
I mean, could we use 3 every day?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
easy.
yeah, easy.
So I've had permanent
Five.
subs.
Glad we did,
That's
yeah.
why we had.
Oh, I know, I'm
Yeah.
just wondering how it's currently
Before.
playing out, like, could we use 7? I don't know where that
The
number.
difference comes into play is there are days where we don't need them, and, the cost effectiveness piece is, well, we're not paying salary and benefits.
Sure, yeah.
So that was the piece that we saved there, continuity of care or continuity of instruction. When you had the full-time sub here, they were trained, they knew our system, the kids knew you weren't gonna get away with it. I also knew I was getting a quality sub, so I could give them a lesson plan that it could be dynamic and we could expect certain things. Other times, it's one of those like, right now, I need you to maintain, because the other teachers, like speaking high school, the other teachers, they're gonna keep instruction going, but right now, these kids might just get a study hall today. Elementary school, you've gotta make sure that you got somebody who can engage with the students and keep the kids safe. So,
But at the elementary school, they've been doing some divvying out into the other classrooms by grade level.
and I don't think that happened a whole lot in previous years.
No.
This year
Bigger
now,
classes.
They're taking, so if a 4th grade teacher is out, they're taking their classroom and divvying it out into the other 4th grade rooms.
Mhm.
so there's more of that going on now. So maintenance wise, I do know, yep, coming up here, we're gonna post for a sub to see if we can get somebody. The team's prepared that, yep, the high school is gonna do some shifting. The middle school will shift back where the middle school was cleaning down at the elementary school, so they'll shift back. And then Brad and Dale, we need no snow so that they're not pinched. Otherwise, there'll be some of us others stepping in, trying to make sure that things get done.
And we don't have a posting for a full-time person currently, right? Or do we?
We do not.
Okay,
For maintenance?
yeah. Do we have any other students that would have interest in?
That's where we're putting that out again, is to say, hey, do we have more students and what can we find there? So,
What grade is the student who is doing it, maintenance?
Sophomore.
thank you. I was thinking junior, but sophomore.
Is it more likely that a senior wouldn't do it because they already work outside of school?
I think where we change in the semesters, we might have some that are without a job right now, or they now have the work release, so now I think we've got plausibility there, it's just not long-term sustainability.
Right.
And I will say this too, there is a level of, okay, can we get by? If we don't have snow, then I'm not as concerned, and I know
Yeah.
like, if I can save $12 an hour for a period of time, well, I'm gonna save the $12 an hour because I definitely could use that money somewhere else. It's just making sure I'm not overtaxing, overburdening the crew.
Right.
Is there any projects that they have that we could get volunteers to do?
Next question.
Doors, can you find me some doors?
I could take some out of my house, but. Some of the
No, I-
cleanup things.
Yeah,
After the
Build
game.
some shelves or.
I appreciate that, I think the biggest thing would be is, and you said that is, if there's ways to clean up after games and that, it's a great question, and I'll put that back to the admin team, as we look at end of February, March, April, let's look and see, is there projects, the nice part will be basketball should be wrapping up, so we won't have those events. It's the outdoor stuff, which could be in the lens of, and then that would be is, do we start getting any mowing done that starts occurring? Those would be things for somebody to get on a mower and ride for a while. that wouldn't be a bad job for someone to do.
Everybody
wanna do the
bring
hillsides.
your own lawnmower. We're gonna have, yeah. We're just gonna have the afternoon mowing.
People out here pushing around.
Ride it down the street. Yeah, you totally-
Might not look good, but.
Yeah, it might be a little uneven, but it'd be fun.
Video.
Yeah, people crisscrossing, yeah. Go number on the football field.
We're getting creative here, Ryan.
You notice I went to something else. I'll let you guys say creative. No, I would say, I do think that there's plausibility in that. Knowing, hey, moving forward, I know we're looking at spring break, some painting projects. So yeah, there's some painting that could be
We've
done.
looked at a paintbrush in this district before.
I know where there's a lot of paint.
Because quite frankly, and the next piece might be is. Yeah, and I will say is, guys, you need to take some time off.
Right.
Because you're burning, and I think
Well, they
everybody's
burned
burning.
it.
And you burned it, and what they're saying is, no, I can't afford it. We can't afford it. That's, I think that's the hardest part I hear is we can't afford to do it. So no, it's like, no, we have to pay you for these things.
Yeah.
We have to do this. No, I'm not doing this to the district. That's not okay.
No.
So I'm not allowing you to do this, but I see the burden in their face of they're trying to do everything they can. It's a very loyal, dedicated group of individuals, and it's just trying to find ways to support them.
Don't wanna lose them.
No, we don't, no.
Need a board cleanup day.
Yeah, I can help with that.
Board come in, leave one.
They probably wouldn't think we did a good enough job.
I'm
Probably
sure I
not.
couldn't do a good enough job.
Just put a broom around though, I can broom the floors.
All right, do we have anything else, building and grounds related to discuss? Anybody have any concerns?
Winter weather advisory starts at 8:19.
You're gonna cancel school.
What you talk, don't be talking about.
Oh,
All right,
I'll be honest, I haven't read the report yet, but I do know it's on my list.
I do have a question.
okay,
We used to have a list of, what was?
Ongoing,
Yeah,
like short-term.
the short-term things.
Buy.
Put
wish
that on
list, yeah.
pause.
I
And I would tell
assume
you
we
this,
did.
yeah, we
but
put it
I-
on pause because of where we're at right now, and I think it's one of those, and I'll be honest, I haven't even looked at it because I know I don't have resources. I think this is something when we would talk strategic planning to bring that back up of here's some of the things, and I think we pull back the old, I think it was HSR put on or did
They
the.
did
yeah, they'll
a
facility
facilities
plan,
plan.
it's not old, we
Yeah.
had them update that,
Yeah.
so it's not old.
It's like.
Now, my
4
question
years
was,
ago.
is there anything on there that has risen to the, we've got to do it
The roof,
so far?
I think that would probably, and I think we, looking at it, I think the roof would be the only thing that was one of those that's shown its head as it's a priority.
yeah, and I think that if we decided to go back down that path, that we would want to reassess how we manage that
Yes,
again.
yeah.
I don't think we would want to handle that in the same way.
I agree.
But I feel like having that list is still helpful.
Yeah.
Having the list so
So you
that we
can
have it in
reference
front
it.
of us is, I
Yeah.
think is really important.
Mhm.
I just think that, the management of it, we need to be more involved in with that.
I think that you saying that. I
We
think
need
that
to
is-
manage it.
That would
We
be the
need to
piece,
manage
it's a team managed approach, it's not given to administrator to manage.
Right.
And I think we manage it as a committee and then process moving forward, what do we do with it?
Right. And that was a model that we had in place for a long time and it worked well for us. Okay. Anything else?
Robin, do it.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh my gosh.
Second,
I'll second that.
Jess, all in favor,
Aye.
against,
I
8:28.
need a broom to sweep the floor.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on? Your shoe must be coming apart.
Ain't an energy.
Thank you, guys.
I thought it was on the floor. All right, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Here, let's go put this- see this one?
Yeah,
Talk to the queen.
yeah.
I was gonna offer to take care of that one, but Sandy's already handling
One
it. so-
one of the kids, yeah, one of the kids put that in there.
I saw the dates for December of 2025. That's huge. all these new ones.
Yeah, I actually saw that comment and thought it was adorable. Should adopt the Japanese model. Kids clean their own classrooms. Yeah. Yep, right?
Keep our sense where we're. Because they had to.
I think.
I don't know how we
In
did
open
it.
spaces.
Yeah.
We could do that again.
Right, but remember what happened there? You have people for that.
Good, bad, or good?
Oh, it's more.
Right, so we're off, are we off by a year or 2 years?
I think we're probably.
It's like when you get into the agenda sometime, it's stuff from last year, 2 years ago, still.
That is on the front page of the school board. Part of what
Oh, that's it?
I sent.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for your work, Ryan.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.